feel like a lot of times people don't realize how big of a stance is being taken sometimes until like years down the road. And just like looking at how this whole drama with American Gods played out in real time. And as it's still playing out right now, there was like some messages I was reading yesterday where like there was a conversation between, I guess, like the guy who wrote the original material and somebody. So, you know, people loved you on that show. And to see, you know, somebody coming through God level, saying the things that, you know, Mr. Nancy was saying, all rooted in truth, and to be so unflinchingly black, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like watching Public Enemy play out, you know, on TV. Like, yo, say what needs to be said, sir. Let's
That's
go.
How I felt when I first heard Public Enemy. I was like, what?
It was mind blowing. It's like, yo, this is on Stars and not BET Black. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, to be able to, and to know that that was you moving the pen, writing those words, not just for yourself, but for others as well, correct?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, again, all boats rise, man. I mean, it'd be one thing if I was advocating for me. That's what was so weird about the scenario. I mean, at the end of the day, I was fighting for Shadow Moon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was fighting for Bilquis. Nancy's entire arc in season 2 is about Bilquis. It's about that queen. It's about uplifting that queen. It's about getting that queen away from the new gods and bringing her back home to where she belongs with the old gods, where we can see her, where we value her, where her worshipers matter. And that's what that whole funeral home speech was about. And, you know, I got a lot of accolades from them saying how awesome it was. But then when it came to continuing the narrative, obviously they wanted the narrative to stop. So they couldn't have thought it was that awesome. You know, for me, that was a difficult situation because so many actors go to work and don't have their characters written and don't have anything they could do about it. And that was my scenario. And, you know, I give Neil Gaiman credit in that he asked me to fix it. And he asked me, so I did it. But, you know, we got through that season and I found myself helping out my castmates because they're my castmates. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in these scenes by myself. So that was just about trying to pay it forward. But the weird part about it for me, and I think people lose this nugget, is that I only look at it economically. Remove all the race and all that from it. Let's just talk economically. In season 1 of American Gods, I was in 2 scenes. The slave ship scene and the scene in last episode where I tell you to get yourself a queen. And in that scene, I'm telling you the story of Bilquis. I am not talking about Astera Easter played by Kristen Chenoweth. I'm talking about this black lady, all right? I didn't write that stuff. Y'all created that character. You hired me to do that job.
Okay.
So I was in Africa doing Madiba. So you didn't pay me really for that season, but I did all your press like I was a season regular. So all that time I was flying around doing press, so you don't get paid for that. That's just you helping out. Well, why was I helping out? I was only in 2 scenes, but I had more press than anybody else. Oh, it's cool. It's all love. I love the writers, the creators, the cast, no problem. I ain't say a word. I was good with it. It's now 2 years between season 1 and season 2. I can't go to work on other stuff because they keep saying we're going to go, but we ain't going to go. We're going to go. We're going to want to go. But I'm not working because you're sitting on my rights. So now 3 years have passed and I show up to work. And the first thing you tell me is I need to write a character Bible for my own character because in the last 2 years, y'all didn't have time to write a character Bible.
And real quick, for those who don't understand the business, what is a character Bible for people
who read to it? So you look at all the characters on American Gods, Miss Nancy, Bilquis, Shadow Moon, Mad Sweeney, Mr. Wednesday, all of them came from somewhere. All of them have a story, a backstory. And all of them have usually a place you want to see the character go. So there was 2 years between season 1 and season 2, and none of that existed. No one had ever written it.
So it was kind of just freestyling?
I show up to work and suddenly I get asked to write that for my own character.
Is it because you were the only black writer?
It's because I am a writer. The rest of the cast members are not writers. They had a writing staff, but their writing staff hadn't written it.
Okay.
So for me, it's like, okay, it's been 2 years. Y'all done fired writers, hired new writers. told us we going into production. I'm now here to act, but I got to write my words. I got to help you write my words because you're asking me to. Now I got to help all my castmates write their words because nobody's writing them properly either. So suddenly I got Salim and the Jinn, Shadow Moon, Laura Moon. Not really Matt Sweeney because Pablo did that work. And frankly, Ian McShane was my biggest supporter. Love to that dude. He was like, I'll handle this side, you handle that side. But I was still writing the bulk of the characters. And so that's why I became a producer on the show, because the Writers Guild said, he's writing most of your main characters. He has to be a producer on the show. He's obviously a writer on the show, but they didn't want to pay me for that. So the first fight was the Writers Guild making them pay me for the work that I did. Did they pay me my rate? They paid me 15 cents on the dollar because it was a retroactive deal. And the Writers Guild said, well, you don't have to pay him the whole amount. You have to pay him this amount. They were still mad. Now,
so was it it wasn't Stars that was mad?
It was Fremantle.
Production company. What was it?
It was Fremantle. It was
Fremantle.
Fremantle. Stars was not trying to come at me like that, really. I'm not beefing at Stars, frankly. It was Fremantle, really. Stars doesn't have any say, so it's not their show. It's on their network, but it's really Fremantle's show.
Okay.
So what was weird was then the show launches for season 2, hugely successful, bigger than it was in season 1. I do press, all the other madness that goes along with the show. Show ends for season 2. We got picked up for season 3 after the second episode. All's good. They wait 6 months. They wait till 8 days before I'm supposed to go to work. 8 days before I'm supposed to go to work in September, I get my first phone call, not from Fremantle, who I work for, from Stars. They're not picking up your option. How are you not picking up my option 8 days before I'm supposed to go to work? Couldn't you have told me this 6 months ago?
But they also were using your image in like the trailers to promote season 3.
Dude, they not only did they have my image in that, they asked me to go to Comic-Cons to promote the show a week before they fired me. They announced an American Gods panel. They had my image in the casinos on slot machines. So they were making money, licensing my image all over the place.
And you don't get nothing from that.
Not only that, they didn't even pay me on the contract that they fired me from. So I'm like, okay, I've worked 21 days in 4 years. You've paid me for 1 year of work. The other 3 years of work I didn't get paid for. And then you didn't honor my contract and fired me 8 days before I was supposed to go to work. And the process that you did all this in, the way you did it, hurt the financial return on your show. You only hurt that show. You hurt the finances of that show. The viewership of that show went down the tubes. So as an executive, how does that work? You kill the only show Fremantle Scripted has. You guys murder your successful show because you didn't like Mr. Nancy? I don't understand. Fiscally.
It's almost like blowing the nose off the Sphinx, in TV form. Like, why would you?
I never did anything to you. You asked me to do the work that I did. You didn't even have to pay me for the work that I did. You string, like, it's all of it is just like, this doesn't make fiscal business sense. So I look at those elements and go, but the people who got hurt, well, that would be my family.
At the end of the day, absolutely. Because you missed out on other opportunities that you could have been embarking on.
All kinds of stuff I couldn't go do that I got pulled out of. And I look at that and go, you knew all that. And so you choose not to pay me, but fire me at the last minute. And then you go around and tell all the people who I spent the last 20 years working with, who are friends of mine, you go badmouth me to those people and say I'm bad for Black America.
Is this the showrunner doing this?
That's what he did. He said he wrote from a Black male perspective. He's a 70-year-old white man who thinks he's Black, who's running around telling people that I'm bad for Black America, but he's never talked to me.
Right.
So I said nothing. I heard this dude was badmouthing me left and right, dude. I said nothing. I got fired in September. I said nothing. My funeral home scene went viral in October. I said nothing. It got crazier in November. I said nothing, but can you give me a release so I can go work on something else? They said no. December, no, we won't give you a release. We're still making money off your image. The funeral parlor scene is bigger than it was in October. And finally, I was like, hey, y'all fired me. I got 15,000 messages plus in my inbox, people saying, I just subscribed to Stars. I can't wait till season 3 of American Gods. What do you expect me to tell all these people? Now, why won't you tell these people that I'm fired? You fired me. Mm-hmm. Just tell them so that I'm not going to be the bad guy here and have them have bought a Stars subscription, caught up on the show because they saw the funeral home scene,
right?
Spent their money, and then find out I'm not there because you want to do a bait and switch on the audience. Nasty.
And I can't even front. It was that scene that pulled me into the show because I was like, oh, snap, my man's on there. And then all of a sudden I pulled up on American Gods and not knowing what was going on, I was like, okay, maybe he'll be on the first episode of the new season. And then when I realized you wasn't, and then it was what it was, I just kind of like, you know what? I did, I read a little bit deeper into everything that was going on with it. And everything that you're explaining to me now, everything I read, it looks and sounds like slavery in artistic form.
That's all it is. Work for free.
They did was wild wrong.
It's work for free, no matter how you. I'm like, I'm gonna let my daughters go to work for some company, any company like this, and there's a work for free clause. Like what? Wait, you just gonna sit? You own my rights, so I can't. Like, come on, yo, like that's. Come on.
So at this very moment, you're still locked in and can't move around and do anything.
Oh no, I'm good. SAG cleared that up in January.
Okay, good. And
yeah,
so
SAG
like
cleared that up. SAG hired legal counsel. I tip my hat to Courtney B. Vance and Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA. Look, they have been incredible and they have gone hard. And I just can't complain about the job they've done and, the support that they've lent to it. They understood that, it was really bigger than me. If this is true, then any actor can just get held up out of work and then fired a week before he's supposed to go to work and not paid.
This legit, when you hear this story, it sounds like something that would have happened to like an actor in the 1930s or the 1940s. You know what I mean? Like, when the guy played Stymie first, got in the Little Rascals, they made him wear the hat everywhere.
He says Stymie. Stymie.
You put a little respect on it. Like, I always wanted more from Stymie. I really did. Like, I like his hat.
Respect. Me too. I wanted more from Stymie. I was like, Buckwheat's the star of the show, really.
But because I'm a geek about Black culture like that, I looked up other things that Stymie did later on in life. He popped up on an episode of Good Times where he had a hat on so you to recognize him, and he's like, older than. But I always wanted more for Stymie. But it's just crazy how in 2021 we still dealing with some of the same things. But to see you publicly, stand on your own too, and so surgically handle it the way you did, man. Salute. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, man, listen, we're the hunted, man. They make black men to be out like we the dirtiest dogs in the world, okay? And I understand that, but that's not who we are. You picked the wrong one. It's not that get down for me. I got raised up by a bunch of black men and they got nothing in common with the way that y'all see us. And I ain't even ever seen it like that. So for as much as we're monsters, we're also heroes. So we're going to be what we're going to be. But yeah, man, I was just like, I can't really do that. So you want to get it in, let's get it in and talk about it. I mean, if you want to, justify your actions, then justify your actions. But, if you think I'm finna be scared, you got the wrong one, pimp. That's not my game. You
can flip the table over or you can unscrew it and let it fall apart. And you did the latter. So that's kind of dope in that regard. So looking towards the future.
Yes, sir.
What is Orlando Jones working on next?
Funny you should mention that. I've been, for a while, people have been on my case about doing a podcast. So I finally decided I'm just going to do it. It's called Talking Shit with Orlando Jones.
Okay. Simple enough.
Simple enough, because that's really what it's going to be. To be able to sort of just chop it up. I think also with the pandemic, there's a cutoff, right? Everybody's sitting in their house. And so there's been a lot of chat about that. And then shooting wise, I just read something actually today that I think I might go do. I'll announce it later once we get further down the road, but I think I'm probably going to go do it. Mostly, man, I'm just kind of focused on looking at stuff that I feel like I can take this character and move it to the realm of feeling three-dimensional. I mean, when Ethan Hawke called me about the Rail Man, that was really it. I was like, word, I think I can take that elsewhere. And he was, mad supportive and really dope about just how he approached it. And was really like, yo, man, I'm handing this off to you. Do your thizzle. So when I look at next steps, I think for me, it's really about finding those type of roles and pursuing those type of characters. I'm writing a couple things for NBC Universal on the animated space, so that's always great. And I think actually I'm going to write. Matthew Knowles wrote a beautiful book just about growing up as a young Black man and what his struggles and mentors and what that were. So I'm actually going to adapt that into a movie. So I'm going to write that feature for Beyonce Daddy. And
that's dope.
And mostly I'm just focused on the writing, producing, and then if I see the right role acting wise, it's all, I love to act. So it's always nice to do it. And I'm going to write and produce a graphic novel called Tainted Love, where I'll wear two hats again. But honestly, man, I just like the collaborating with people and telling of stories. So we'll see what falls in my plate other than those things right there. But that's what's up next.
Okay, so let's just say if you was like walking down a hallway and at the end of this hallway, there was two doors. One door had writing, the other one had acting. And in either door that you walk through, you'd be set for life. And you would do the work that, would, make you happy. Your legacy would be felt. You'd have this worldwide impact overall. If you had to pick one, what would you do?
That's a tough question. I think I would probably take the acting door. I love writing, but the reason I would take the acting door is no matter how you slice it, it's always the singer. It's never the song. Mm-hmm. If you give the most beautiful song in the world to somebody tone deaf, you got something you don't want to listen to.
Right.
So I think you have to be it is, I don't know how to pull the two apart either. It is my ability as the singer with an understanding for composition and structure and language as a writer. It's the two really work together, even though I might not be deploying my acting, my writing skills. I'm still deploying some part of it. I don't know how to turn that off. So I feel like it's the same way the other way. When I'm writing, I'm thinking about who I'm writing it for. Mm-hmm. Because it's the singer, it's not my song. So I'm trying to make my song fit the singer. So when I look at those doors, I feel like one door always has more impact because I have more control as the singer, and sometimes than I have as the writer, because everybody's got to approve those words before they can hit the air.
Absolutely.
So looking at it that way in particular, I'm choosing that door. Honestly, I think we need more writers and more diverse storytellers because we need more people to tell stories that we haven't seen and heard 1,000 times before. I feel like we're watching the same story over and over again all too often. So, to other people out there, I'm like, the writing door is a powerful door. Take that door. But I came from a world of writer performers. Everybody who I looked up to was a writer performer. So my goal was always to be a writer performer producer, because that really is what would allow me the most ability to tell a story.
Dope. Well, I know you got things to do. So one quick question before you go, acting, as long as you've been acting, right? What do you do to still keep those knives sharp? Because like some actors I talk to, they still actively do classes. Some don't. Some just go deep cover. I'd imagine, Ethan Hawke in The Good Lord Bird. I feel like he was deep cover the whole time. Like he was so in character. I hated that y'all didn't really have a scene together, in the whole joint.
So that's what we were gonna do, and it just ended up not working out that way. But yeah, man, that's fam right there. Dude is amazing. I love dude for real.
Yeah, like there's so many movies he's done where I was like, he's totally gonna get nominated for an award for this one, and he doesn't. I'm like, who did he piss off? Because because it happens to us, but there's some white people too that are on some list.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Listen,
where
he's super talented, but he's not about the okie doke. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's a stand-up dude, and he's about to work. So the truth of the matter is, a lot of the award circuit, is about press and money. There's a lot of pay going on that game. So, unless somebody put up a budget to push it through, a lot of times, the work alone won't get you there.
That's the part of the game they don't see. Like when my man, and his name is escaping me, he was in Pineapple Express with Seth Rogen. The other guy, he has a brother married, Allison Brie.
Adrian Brody?
No, not Adrian Brody. Pineapple Express. He was in there with Seth Rogen. He was the other guy, the other stoner dude.
Was that James Franco?
James Franco. When James Franco did the movie about the director who made why is this escaping me? Tyler, you're breaking my heart.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. You listen, both we're gonna have to get this out.
I know I'm mad at myself. I didn't want to pick up my phone, but hold on a second. Let me see
listen, we're doing this right now.
Who could find it first?
I know, right? It's the mad rush.
Damn it.
The Disaster Artist?
He should have won every award that year. Every single award. Because as a person who saw the original movie that movie was based off of, he hit everything to a T. And
James Franco's a baller, for real. I agree with you.
But they hit Turbo on him that year.
Pushing that movie. So James Franco, you know what I'm saying? Not a race thing, just a business thing.
That's so whack. But
it's just the way it works, man. So
but going back to the original question, how do you stay sharp? Still, do you still go to classes and workshops or what?
I've never the class world has never been my game. I like music. I've always been a musician. Music is a way I really like to stay sharp because it requires you, one, to use your pen to tell a story, 3-minute story, and then 2, to use your vocals. And particularly if you're going to do backing vocals and lead vocals and all that, and stack your vocals and whatnot. So music is a way I keep my act sharp. Stand-up is another way that I would use to keep my act sharp. And obviously theater, getting on stage. I don't think there's any substitute for standing on stage in front of a group full of people having to do it. Mm-hmm. That it's the doing of it that keeps your act sharp. So if you're standing in front of a microphone, doing it, if you're standing on a stage, doing it in a play or doing it as a monologue, they're different things. But that's, for me, those are strong ways to keep your act sharp because there's a real live audience in front of you, and you just got to be mindful of how you interact with that and how you deal with your mob. So I focus on those, I think, and then the physicality of it all is just another thing that when I play a character, I like to figure out how the character walks, how the character talks. So the vocal thing is a big deal for me in terms of just finding an accent and going, I'm going to learn this accent. I'm going to learn South African. Okay, now I'm going to learn Dutch. Now I'm going to learn German. Now I'm going to go back to South African and see how that Dutch, German, African thing comes out in that language so that it has a rhythm to it, because everybody kind of has a rhythm. And so I really focus on those sorts of things. And then, in the character creation process, I just try and leave no stone unturned. Like, what's the pigment? What part of the body do they lead with? What kind of hand gestures do they use? Or what rhythm do they speak in? I just try and really look at all the little things that people do and try and have the character really feel, like, wait, is that, because I want you to be looking at the rail man. I don't want you to be looking at me. I'm not the rail man.
Yeah, understood.
You know what I mean? But he played such a significant role in our history. That type of character did. And he played a significant role in that story because it's the pivotal of what happens with Onion. So I needed Onion to meet something that was bigger than life, that had stakes. And so in that one, where I probably would have played that differently if it didn't require that level of, boom, that sort of gravitas to it. And particularly opposite Joshua, who's just a fantastic actor, young actor, and an incredible human being. So I just wanted to make sure that my character choice helped him shine the most, because that's what it's about. It was about the light being on him and making sure that when you saw him, he met up against something that would make him run like that for fear. Yeah, that he had gotten it wrong, that you understood all of those things that had been going through his mind while you're just watching this kid run. So really for me, I just was trying to bring it for Josh because I wanted him to get a nomination for his work, and I'm so proud of him that he did, and I'm so grateful I got to be a part of helping to contribute for that for Young Blood. So for me, that's all that's about.
Orlando Jones, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, brother. And if people want to follow you, and you mentioned music, where can people hear the music at?
You know, I dropped a mixtape with Billboard a couple of years ago. Just look for the Sleepy Halloween mixtape. I think it's on Dat Piff too.
Okay, so these are raps.
Yeah, man, I do the whole thing.
I mean, no pressure. I mean, if we could get a 16 on the way out, you know what I'm saying? You know, for the culture, you know what I mean? It would mean a lot. You know what I mean?
I gotta drop a 16.
We need those star bars.
Listen. This is all I can say to you. Tell me what you want. Tell me, because if you don't, it'll never be what you want. I'm just telling you so you know. Hey, get that girl an inch like she's stepping all in my throat. I'm just trying to keep it real, but the people already know. Hey, she the type, loud as a motorbike, alone at the crib, and I'm sticking it like a spike. On, down, set, hike you to center, and I'm the quarterback. Strap off safety, and I'm trying to take the cornerback, but back off, baby. I ain't trying to statutory that. Talking to this cool chick, I asked her where her daughter at. I ain't the type to be balling and things, but there's so many ladies and they calling my name. So just tell me what you want, girl. So what you want, girl? Tell me what you want, girl. Tell me what you want now.
Yo, we got to run this up on Dat Piff. I'm just saying, like, you know, like I haven't logged onto the site in years. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing me back.
Right, exactly. Listen, I put it up years ago. One of the artists that I work with, my boy TriStar, Illy with the pen, dope rapper. Obviously, Dre back in the day and the whole nine. TriStar is ridiculous. He literally hit me up like last week and he was like, you got to drop all the stuff. You got to drop all the new stuff and like put it on Spotify. So a bunch of stuff is going up on Spotify. So you'll hear some. I'm gonna go ahead and drop some. I've been dropping stuff under aliases forever, but my manager's like, I'm done with that. You're gonna have to just drop this now. So,
all right, give us one of the aliases so we can track some of the stuff down.
I'll give you one. Wicked Warlock.
All right, writing that down. Wicked Warlock.
Find, Wicked Warlock track. I think I licensed one and I put it on a couple of shows on Netflix and Hulu. And I think it's on iTunes.
Got you.
But I write for people and I've been ghostwriting for people on the music side for years. That's why I was doing Drumline. Dallas Austin is like my brother.
That's so crazy and random. And, and shout out to the Mailbox Money. So crazy thing. I did a song a long time ago for a music library, right?
Yeah.
It was like, yo, make a song that sounds like a song that Public Enemy would have made if it was like 1990 something. Yeah. And it was in a Salt and Pepper movie. And I didn't even know it was coming on.
That's exactly right.
And I was like, oh, snap. At first it was like, they couldn't afford Public Enemy, huh? Then I was like, wait a damn minute. I recognize those. Oh, snap. I always get the checks, but I never hear it. That's right. I never hear the songs when they're on anything.
That's exactly right.
It blew my mind.
I started doing that back when I was writing sitcoms. So, I was always doing that too. You know what I mean? So it was just like a way to make some mailbox money, like you said. So I was like, I write a song, I write some jokes for a stand-up, and then I would write on the show. You know what I mean? So, and then when stuff blew up, it just became, in terms of the acting side, I wasn't trying to do the multi-hyphenate thing. I was just trying to do the work. I mean, I was like, I didn't even know what a multi-hyphenate was. I was like, I do music, but like, and then, the whole record game was like,
it's goofy.
I was like, I'm good on that. Like whatever that is.
But how much does it suck sometimes to be so dope at so many things that sometimes you're not even 100% sure what to lead with? Well, now I know it's more acting than anything, but
problems of privilege.
This
is how I see it. You're going to use all these different tools. I use them all in different ways all the time. I'm not mad at having them. I'm grateful for having them, but it doesn't really bother me so much. Like, here's what I will say to you, my friend. You're a great interviewer.
Thank you, sir.
And I do a lot of interviews. You're extremely good at it. Obviously, you do music. I can tell by your interaction that in front of a camera as an actor, you can become a thing. You can do that. So I already know you have all those skill sets, yet here you are smashing HeadKrack. Now, do I think you're going to be doing HeadKrack forever? Yeah, as long as you want to be doing HeadKrack. But I believe that the opportunity will come to you and you will use these skills that you're using right now to do other things. I think what's difficult is when you feel like they got you repressed and you can't get out to do your thing. That
it's tricky.
Feeling is dangerous.
It is. And I'm not letting it happen. I've reconnected with an acting coach. I just did my
Good.
headshots last week.
Good.
You know, because like I've gotten opportunities just because of where I sit, but
Yep.
I want to get the opportunities that I earned.
You should.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to sharpen those skills.
Here's the thing about it, man. People talk about stuff that's funny or not funny. You can go to classes till the end of time. You ain't gonna never be funny. Either you are or you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're somebody who people gravitate to, they look at, they want to hear, or you're not. It's just there's no real way around that. You know, it is what it is. You have that gift, so you may as well use it in all of its splendor. I say to my daughter all the time, the medium always changes. If you look at music in particular, the medium always changes. They had the vitriola, the 78, the 45, the 33, the 8-track, the cassette, the CD, the digital download, right?
Right.
But a hot 16 and being able to play the guitar, that's the craft. That don't never change. That's just the ways they sold it. So I always say, if you stay true to the craft, you don't have to be bothered with how the medium shifts. So it's going to shift. That's what the medium does, but it is the craft that remains the same.
Yo, you dropped so many jewels today, Orlando. You should be charging people, bro. So, yo, God bless. Much love to you and your family. Continue success. And, yo, you play the God on TV, but you're a God in real life, man. Keep rising, baby.
Hey, back at you, fam. Thank you so much, man. This was awesome. I enjoyed talking to you.
Likewise, man. And hey, anytime you got anything to promote, you know, I got my own show now, so feel free to pull up. Like, I'm actually gonna run some of this on the show, but you know, yeah, as soon as these other projects you got going on, you're always welcome.
Done. Sold. 100.
It is, man. Follow Orlando Jones, and I'm about to pull up some Wicked Warlock. It's happening. Peace, my brother.
Peace, man. Take it
later.
easy.
You too.
Right.